Subscribe, follow, like, share. Last Bell Boxing. These guys give you all the exclusives, and next time I get my fight date, it's going to be exclusive on here as well. So make sure you give them all a follow.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Last Bell Boxing, and what a treat we have in store today. One of the original finders of Last Bell Boxing, Cedric Benn. Good afternoon, I believe it is where you are, Cedric.
Yeah, it's just turning afternoon now. It's just quarter after 12 right now here in Canada, Ontario. So yes, thanks for having me back. Great to be back on the last Bell Boxing show. It's been a while, but yeah, man, glad to be back.
You've been a busy boy with the Canadian national team, living the high life
Yes.
and things
Well,
like that.
not even. I haven't been traveling with the national team. I've been in communication with the boxers and the coaches. Shout out to the head coaches Vincent and Samir, doing a great job with Team Canada. They actually brought Canada back the first medal at the Olympics since 1996. So shout out to coaches Vince and Samir with Team Canada, doing a very good job right now.
Okay.
All right.
So let's move on to the reason why we joined the show today. So obviously Oleksandr Usyk beat Daniel Dubois at the weekend. Is a bit of a Brit basher at the minute, bit of a Brit basher. You kindly agreed to join us to talk about where we think he sits within the greatest heavyweights of all time. So you're much more qualified than me to talk about this. So take the floor, Cedric. Let's have a conversation about where you think he belongs.
Okay. So, Oleksandr Usyk, this guy is unbelievable. I've been saying since 2018, I believe. I got Box Rec up here with their records up. After Oleksandr won that cruiserweight tournament. Yes, after Oleksandr Usyk won that cruiserweight tournament, I'm just looking for the year. I'm pretty sure it was 2018. Yes, when he won when he beat Gassiev in the gold medal match. It's not. Well, actually, let me just finish on my thought. I knew from back then. I had not that I knew, but I had a very good feeling that he would do what he's doing now in just cleaning out both divisions, because. After that, after he won that cruiserweight tournament, it wasn't just him winning the tournament, because obviously the cruiserweight division is not very, nobody really talks about that division anyway. No. So it's not the fact that he won that. It's the way that he won it, like basically flawlessly. Again, those names weren't big names, but Gassiev was a very good fighter. Marius Briedis, he was a good fighter. Marco Huck, people talked about him. And just even going back further than that, I was saying back then that Usyk is going to be the next Evander Holyfield. And they're going to have the exact same careers, meaning they both won gold medals at the Olympics. They both started out at the cruiserweight division, cleared out the cruiserweight division, moved up to heavyweight. And Evander Holyfield didn't exactly clear out the heavyweight division, but he's definitely was one of the top names up there.
But you know why that was, Cedric? That was because of that great British fighter, Lennox Lewis. That's why he didn't clear the heavyweight division out, wasn't it?
Listen, we're not going to get sidetracked into that conversation right now. That is a whole different show that we can focus on that one. I like how you snuck that one in there, though. That one in there. Now you made me lose my train of thought with that crap. So basically, yeah, and Usyk, when he first moved up, his first step up to the heavyweight division was the only time that I questioned it. His first fight was against Chaz Witherspoon.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if you remember, but he kind of struggled in that match. And that was the only time I was like, whoa, But the one thing that I give him, not credit, but just, when you move up in weight classes, sometimes you might need a fight or two to adjust to the bigger punches. Especially, there's no bigger jump in weights than from cruiserweight to heavyweight. Like that's, what I'm saying. You're, in the lighter weight classes, it's 3-4 pounds. Yep. Once you get to the middleweight classes, it's like 5 to 8 or 10 pounds. When you jump up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, there's no limit after that. So That's what, for him to make that transition and to continue is basically flawless. I wouldn't say flawless, but unanimous victories. I think is amazing.
And I can vouch for you, Cedric. Obviously, you joined the show back when he started the first AJ fight, and we was all saying he's too small, and you were saying he's not too small. It's not often that I admit that I was wrong, as you know. On this occasion,
yes.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is. Thanks you for acknowledging that too. But it was usually when people move up in weight classes, two things have to follow you up there. Either your skills have to follow you up there. You have to have exceptional skills, or your power has to move up with you. I guess one of the best examples of that in recent time, there's plenty of boxers that have tried it, but just using Floyd as an example, someone who moved up multiple weight classes, and obviously his power didn't move up with him. That's why people complained that his style was boring, but he just didn't have the power to knock these guys out. That's why he had to rely on his skills. And then to give Usyk even more credit, not only is he, stepping up in weight classes and facing these giants, but he's actually hurting them. Like, he's just stopped Dubois. He hurt Tyson Fury badly. The ropes held up Tyson Fury in that fight. So it's not only is he displaying his skills, and it's the accuracy of his punches, man. One thing that I explain to my boxers is, don't just be satisfied with landing punches on the head. Most boxers can take punches here. This is what you're trying to create along the jawline, either right on the button or anything along the jawline. That's what the difference between hurting somebody and stopping them. And so the difference is, and then just comparing Usyk to Mayweather again, when Mayweather moved up, obviously he did not have knockout power. No. But what I tell people is that he did have respectable power. Yeah. Right? Exactly. And that's exactly what Usyk has too. And that's kind of what I was trying to explain with the Joshua thing. When you guys were like, oh, just use his side, just walk him down. I'm like, yes, he can do that. But obviously Usyk is making these guys respect him a little bit. Just going back to Floyd, the only person that, if it was just the case that Floyd was just a pillow puncher, then people would just walk him down and just take his punches. The only person that tried to do that was Maidana in that first fight. He was like, listen, I'm not going to outbox this guy. Let me just try to street fight him. And it kind of almost worked. The scorecards were a lot closer than people thought. Then Mayweather, of course, did the rematch and made the adjustments and made it clear. The only way you're and Dubois tried to do that. I think Dubois tried to implement the Maidana style in that, just use your size and come after this guy. But Usyk was like, hold this, bam.
Do you think?
And so
do you think it might be a Caballero or even a Jai Opetaia who might be able to get the better of Usyk?
I think the second guy, Opetaia. I'm not sure. And then the newer guy, what's the other guy's name?
Caballero.
Caballero. Yes, I'm not sure, man. They haven't really shown me things to be like, okay, yes, I think him doing this is gonna give Usyk some difficulty, right? They're very good boxers, obviously. Yeah. But I'm just saying they haven't really shown me anything to be like, this is gonna be the guy to give Usyk trouble. So not at this time. I don't think they're the guys to it. So
let's get to the meaty question then, Cedric. So if you had to plot Usyk in the all-time heavyweight boxers list, where would you be putting him?
I would be putting him.
So who's above him?
I didn't make that list. I made a bunch of notes on other stuff. I didn't make that list.
Okay, let's go through your list then.
I would have to say top 5. One thing. I'll answer that even more detail in a second. Yeah. But one thing that someone brought up, this wave of like European fighters, like, you know, for example, Usyk and Klitschko, and in the lower weight classes, like you know, you got Bivol Beterbiev, Lomachenko. These guys only started to come into boxing like in the 90s, right? Back in the Muhammad Ali's 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, they didn't have to deal with any type of Lomachenkos and even Triple G's type guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just want to bring that up when people talk about, you know, back in the days when the competition was a lot more stiffer. You know, I'd like to, you know, beg to differ. I'm not trying to say that today is much better, but I would like to say this somewhat comparable.
Do you
I
think,
forget the question here.
so do you think Usyk gets penalised because he's in a perceived poor area for heavyweights?
I believe so. I believe so, and that's why I guess people hesitate to put him in, you know, in the same weight, in the same conversation as Muhammad Ali. But I don't know, man. This is still. I just find it amazing what he's doing. You can see the skills, though. It's not just you know, and I would say Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury could definitely compete in with the heavyweights from the late 90s. I would say Joshua would be competitive too. Not to say that he would win, but I think Anthony Joshua would be competitive with the guys from the late 90s. Even you know, even a Dylan White would put up a good fight with Dylan White. I think Dylan White would be comparable to Shannon Briggs.
Yeah, that's
Someone who's a, you know, great fighter, maybe not an A+ fighter, but someone that's, you know, B+ at least, and will give the A+ fighters a good test for their a good fight, right? So, yeah, I don't think that this generation is that much, you know, the skill level is that much lower than before.
I won't talk about nationalists there, but because I think Lennox Lewis is the best heavyweight of all time, in your opinion, who wins out of Usyk versus Lennox?
This is why I didn't want to make a list. Like, no, honestly, I can't help but to put my feelings in the way, and I feel bad. So it's like, man, well, because Lennox also won a gold medal at the Olympics, I would go with Lennox just because Usyk has. Oh, actually, no, Anthony Joshua won a gold medal at the Olympics. Oh, I forgot about that. Because I was gonna say Usyk never fought anyone, you know, that has the, you know, the exceptional skill level. But Anthony Joshua won a gold medal at the Olympics, so I don't know. Wow. I'm gonna go here. I'll explain why. I'm gonna go with Lennox Lewis, not simply, but because, and I know you've heard this before. Obviously, like, you know, when the skills are equal to each other, usually the bigger person will just kind of outweigh, no pun intended, the bigger person will just outweigh the smaller person.
The big one beats the little one, right?
Yes.
Normally.
Yeah. Yes, normally, yes. That's why I hesitated, because I'm just going by on paper what it would look like, right? And again, I just think Usyk, there's certain guys in each generation that I believe are generational. I don't know if you want to, if the term is generational talent. There's someone that you could place them in any era and they would be competitive. And so I think Usyk is definitely there. And so, you know, I'll put Usyk in my top 5. Yeah, top 5 at least.
Who's in that top 5 then, Cedric? Just give me an idea of the company he's keeping.
This is specifically heavyweights, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with no order, just off the top of my head. Usyk, Usyk, Lennox Lewis, Ali, and then the last 2. I'm gonna go with George Foreman and Evander Holyfield, because first of all, with Evander Holyfield, because like I said before, Usyk, I just thought it was amazing how someone could go from cruiserweight to heavyweight and still be competitive with these guys that are just so much bigger than him. And then George Foreman, because like you want to talk about just brute force. I'm pretty sure George Foreman only had about maybe 15 or 16 amateur bouts, and I'm pretty sure he won. Did he win a bronze at the Olympics? I'm not sure.
I think it was a bronze. Yeah.
I think, and kind of like Deontay Wilder, not someone who the skill level wasn't all there, but he made up for it with his power. Like he definitely made up for his power. People talking about his defense, the defense that he not made up, but George Foreman will kind of block just with his hands like this, because George Foreman never really learned like basic fundamental defense. He was just so big. He just like he just fucking flee your hands away from him and just come in. So I just thought it was amazing.
It worked. I mean, he come back at 50 and won a world title, right? Not many do that.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why he's in my top five heavyweights, because from what he did, I just thought it was amazing. Yeah, and that's my top five. So again, not in order. Just one more time.
Yeah, no
order before the chat goes crazy on me.
Last
Usyk.
one.
Huh?
Go on then, Cedric. Name the five then.
Usyk, Lennox Lewis, Ali, Evander Holyfield, George Foreman. There you go.
And the last one for me, for a bit of fun, Cedric, and obviously this might age well or it might not age well. If you had to put your last dollar on the last fight that Usyk has, because he's mentioned he's having one more fight, who's his opponent?
Jake Paul for a big payday. No, but honestly, he other than Opataya and just mentioned his name. Other than those two guys, who else would we be excited to see? Like, I know Tyson Fury's been talking, but I mean, you already got lost twice. If Tyson would have won one of the fights, then maybe you could obviously vouch for a third one. But I don't think a third fight against Joshua or Fury is gonna make a difference in the outcome.
Too early for Moses Atama.
Oh yes. No, that would be like. Well, actually, I don't know. This is I don't personally believe this, but the narrative behind the whole when Floyd fought Canelo was that Canelo was too young and not ready yet, which I don't believe, because Canelo, he was 23 years old. He was a pro for 8 years. He had 40 fights with 30 knockouts. So I don't know how much more fights and
took a lot away from that fight, Cedric. Learned a lot in that fight, right?
I guess so. But with the heavyweights, with Usyk, I think he'll get her. With Floyd Mayweather, I don't think they were worried about getting knocked out. They might have been worried about losing on the decisions, but I don't think Canelo's team was ever worried about getting knocked out. With Usyk, you have to worry about getting knocked out. You understand? Even though we talked about he's not known as a knockout puncher, but Dubois was just on a 3-fight winning, like a good 3-fight winning streak against very good competition. Just knocked out Anthony Joshua. So, and then Usyk just comes and stops him. I was predicting Usyk to win the fight, but not that easily, not that early.
One more name before we finish. Joe Parker.
Joe, yes. I mean, if there's one person that has put themselves in a position to earn that spot against Usyk, I guess it's Parker. He's been on, after Dubois, he's probably had one of the best heavyweight runs in the past couple of years with his big wins, right? So I guess so. I guess as one more. Did they already fight though?
No, they haven't fought yet. No, Parker fought Anthony Joshua.
Okay. Then does Parker have no? Because Parker doesn't have a belt.
WBO mandatory, so he could. If WBO call it, then it's likely to be. Does Usyk relinquish the belt? I don't know. It's all about money, right?
Yeah. Okay. So if Usyk doesn't fight him, then he has to relinquish that belt.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if and the only way he would I'm thinking the only way that I would relinquish that belt is if I got offered a big money fight,
Correct.
which, like I said, so
Maybe in Saudi Arabia, right?
yeah. Jake Paul in Saudi Arabia. That'll be the only thing. No, but just because I don't think anyone out there can beat him, so I wouldn't be mad if Usyk retired. Now, at the end of the day, he is. That's the other thing that going into this fight, even though I was favoring Usyk, yes, he's 38 years old. You know, there's some gray hair starting to pop out. Like, you know, that's why most professional athletes have to retire in their mid to late 30s, because it's not the strength that you lose, it's the reflexes and reaction time.
And he's dependent on them, isn't he? He's dependent on them reflexes.
Exactly.
You don't know when Father Time's going to strike, do you?
Exactly. So, you know, and the one thing that makes fighters stick around too long is their own pride. Because I always say this, and I know this as for myself on a lower scale. I only had 30 amateur matches, so I didn't win nationals or anything like that. I was never like a super high level boxer, so I can only speak on this on a lower level. Like, it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and admit to yourself you ain't got it no more, man. It's very hard for boxers. Other sports, you don't care. Like, you know, you're too old to swing a bat. Your reflexes aren't too slow to swing a bat.
You're not getting
in
the face.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So, you know, your reflexes slow down a little bit, and you're starting to get punches with hit that you know that you used to not get hit with, but like your pride just tells you, no, it's okay. I can do one more. I can do one more.
That's no sign of that, was it, Cedric? On Saturday, no sign of that at all, was there?
No. No, definitely not. Speaking of signs, it's about Muhammad Ali. You know, one of the reasons why mentally he was gone, later on in life is because he stayed in boxing too long. And I know, and I've heard of this story before. There was one point, I forget which fight it was, but like there was one point where he said to his team, that he was thinking about retiring and thinking about calling it up, and then his team was like, no, you the champ, man, you the champ, you still got a couple more, you the champ. But when I'm thinking to myself, back in the day, a lot of these trainers, I'm assuming their only job was to coach the fighter. So it's like, that all these trainers are thinking to themselves like, whoa, I can't afford for you to retire. Like I still need to pay for my house and my family. Like, and my only source of income is when you fight and pay me 10% or whatever. So like, I'm not gonna say that to you, but I'm gonna be like, oh no, you don't need to retire. Yeah, you still got it. Yeah, let's go to the gym right now. So it's a combination of your own pride won't let you quit, and the yes men that you have around you that you're paying.
Something told me Usyk's too clever for that, because he's completed boxing, right? He's completed boxing. So if he only comes up tomorrow, he could hang them up, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Cedric, I'm going to bring it to an end there, okay? So I want to thank you for coming on the channel. Don't be a stranger.
I got you.
Nice to see you tidied the gym up a little bit from previous times. But all jokes aside, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and we'll speak soon, okay? Take care.
Anytime. Thank you.